In space, no one can hear you scream, but in Starbound, I'll die on distant planets,
Oh my gosh.
meet unique peoples,
There was a mushroom man in a mushroom house.
taste unexpected food,
Spooky donut.
fight wild bosses, and make sure I scream so you can hear it.
No!
So let's go. 10 hours in Starbound starts now.
First, I had to make my character, so I gave this detailed explanation of why I did what I did.
I like blue better, so we're going to be a blue rose rather than a red rose.
And then I picked my race solely based on the most important thing.
I think this guy has the best head of hair, and that's enough for me to pick him as my character. So we're going to go with this guy.
I gave my beautiful creation a beautiful name to match.
His name is Hirschbersch. Hirschbersch is his name.
The next thing I knew, it was graduation day at the academy and I was oversleeping. So big ups to Starbound for capturing one of my most popular reoccurring panic dreams. I made a quick stop to relieve some pressure on the way to the graduation ceremony.
Just pooping. Just pooping.
Then I raced across campus and arrived at my graduation ceremony just in time for other events to unfold.
They've given us a matter manipulator, and in a matter of moments, the whole place was turned upside down.
Unfortunately, because I had already graduated at this point, my student loans would exist even though the school no longer did. Then I had to escape, so I took off running, moved some dirt, and found the crafting button.
I do not know what I just... Is it C? C is crafting. C is crafting. C is crafting.
After learning to craft, I was denied snacks.
I can't open the vending machine, but I can highlight it. But if I push E on it to interact, it doesn't do anything. Oh, it's because it's in water, so it's shorted out.
Water shorts out electrical devices. I am indeed a scientist, and also a warrior. Check out the sword I found,
A broadsword.
which I used to cut down this tentacle.
Sushi time.
I then climbed aboard the spaceship and left the planet, leaving my student loans behind forever. If the whole planet's gone, surely they can't follow me. I got familiar with my ship and the cat that came with it, figured out how quests and rewards work,
So these are quests that offer unknown rewards.
and then teleported down to explore my first planet. Once I beamed down, I figured out how to pick corn and potatoes,
And then relied on my gaming instincts to lead the way.
My Minecraft instincts tells me to use my pickaxe on the tree. Perfect.
After that, I introduced the wildlife to my broadsword, cut more trees, and made some foolish assumptions.
Unlike Minecraft, I don't think it matters where I mine on the tree. It does. I'm dumb. Whoops.
With the lumber from those trees placed in my inventory, I checked my active missions, got into another tussle with some more of the wildlife, and then gave my thoughts on fiber.
Sometimes fiber becomes something that can make clothes or bandages, so I think we should grab this.
And I grabbed it, and it turned out I was right.
Ah, see? Fiber makes salve.
Spoiler alert, salves are probably my most crafted item. I then climbed this mountain to get some coal, which I would use for torches, whipped up said torches, and gave some enlightened thoughts on the inventory.
So our inventory is separated by different tabs.
I don't know why I stopped to make a point to say that, but go ahead and like and subscribe if you also pause your day to identify tabs. I then lit up the cave I was standing in for no apparent reason, before diving a bit deeper and being given some important information.
There's some sort of energy source on the planet, archaic energy source on the planet, that we're supposed to investigate. That doesn't say how we investigate it or where it's going to be, but I guess we're going to be finding that.
And that wasn't the only thing I was going to find. While the energy was important, I lit up more of the cave and eventually found this.
There looks like some other sort of ore here. You've discovered some ore. Ore can be turned into bars using a furnace, and bars can craft a wide range of things. Okay, so it's kind of giving a little bit of Minecraft Terraria, but we're in space, so I assume we're gonna have spacesuits rather than just armor.
Look at me being a sweet, ignorant little caterpillar. But before I could learn more about the game, I had to keep digging, and I discovered you can mine things in the foreground and the background before making this assumption.
I assume it probably works the same for placing things too.
After giving that little tutorial on how to play the game, I wondered aloud,
I wonder how far is too far down to go. We're obviously finding different materials. There's this iron ore, but I don't know how far we go down before we can't get back up.
so I made stairs to help me with that problem, but then noticed that the planet was going to remain perilous.
So enemies seem to respawn.
They do, but my broadsword stays sharp. 1-0 broadsword. I continue to explore, build stairs, fight enemies, and make salve kits, and eventually returned to the mouth of the cave where I built this campfire. I then found and violently attacked the first boss of the game.
I don't think I needed to kill those bunnies.
You did, don't give it more thought. Look at that!
Oh, at the top there's a compass that says find the archaic energy source. I just noticed that just 10 seconds ago. So we're going to follow that. I think it's a compass. It appears to be pointing to the east.
That is east, so I headed off to the east, and soon discovered another problem.
So hunger will make it so we don't starve to death, but it has nothing to do with health. Good to know.
Yeah, that's just incorrect, but I didn't figure out the interplay between hunger and health for a long time. For now, I whipped up some popcorn to stop me from starving to death. Then I learned some even fancier recipes as I continued to the east.
I learned to craft pearl pea risotto.
And I found this other ingredient that sounded far more appetizing.
Oh, we got rice. Very nice.
In addition to the rice, I also received...
We got rice seeds. Very nice indeed.
Nice indeed. I continued to the east, stopping occasionally for ores, and eventually stumbled across this inconspicuous monument.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is the chaotic energy source. Archaic energy source.
It was, and after some more tutorials, I had my next assignment.
So we need core fragments to power the gate.
And then the little tutorial assistant clarified where to get those.
We need core fragments from deep below the surface to power the gate.
While on my way to find those fragments, I discovered that lying down in a tent or a bed regenerates health over time. So I swiped the tent and the campfire before I left the little base I found.
I didn't even need to build the campfire. I could have just taken that one.
Ah yes, the age-old question. Why build when you can steal? After exploring a bit more still, I finally started building things.
I built an inventor's table because I think it's going to let me build more stuff. I assume it's the equivalent of a crafting table.
In short, the inventor's table allows you to build other facilities, so I whacked it down and got to work on the other facilities. Clearing the area of all the trees, I put down the furnaces and various stations I had built to craft other things, including a spinning wheel where I could process the fibers I had found, and use some of them for string, which I used at the forging station for a bow.
We can make a bow with string. I don't know what we need for arrows. I don't know if we need anything for arrows, but we can make a bow if we make string, and we can make string on the loom. So let's make string to make a bow.
With my bow in hand, I was ready to attack my enemies without seeing the whites of their eyes. And naturally, that was followed by me giving another tutorial lesson.
Okay, so we have a stamina bar at the top. The stamina is what dictates how quickly we can fire the bow, but we don't have limited arrows. Good to know.
After going through all those different crafting stations, I finally concluded what I was going to do next.
So we need more iron bars to make the anvil, to make more weapons and armor. So I think we should go find iron.
As I started digging nearby, I was attacked by this bird, fought it off with a bow, and was provided with this tasty snack.
Poultry. We got poultry from killing that bird.
So I cooked my newly acquired poultry, ate it, and then concluded that
Poultry sorts out a lot of the hunger. So if we can kill more birds, we can take care of the hunger a lot quicker than eating rice and corn and all of that kind of stuff.
there was a small downside.
They do move a lot more though.
I continued digging down, learning about food and different resources with my new equipment.
So if you shoot stuff with arrows or hunting supplies maybe, it produces a little steak. But if you shoot it, you hit it with a sword, it does not drop a little steak.
Unquestionably, whenever possible, I love a little steak. But steak wasn't all I got from those monsters.
He dropped leather too. Spicy ribs, okay. I think we're getting better food than just chicken. I guess poultry comes from any flying animals or bird-like animals. Maybe they don't have to fly.
Whether or not they're flying, I realized something else about the food I was getting.
This makes me think food can go bad. It says should stay fresh for a while. Can food go bad?
Yes, indeed. Just like anything else in life, it can start off good and then go bad.
Harvests meat and other goods from monsters. Okay, so shooting them with a hunting bow is different than hitting them with the sword.
Good to know. Hunting is different than outright killing a monster or defending yourself. Next, I kept digging around and fighting monsters and incidentally found some resources.
I just shot through that ore pile and got silver.
Silver is good, so was this hardened carapace I got from some of the rock monsters I killed. I figured out that building wooden platforms was easier than building blocks to jump up and down on while navigating my caves, and then realized the harsh reality of my survival situation.
It seems we have to keep hunting, otherwise as we get this low underground, we're gonna just run out of food and starve.
Thankfully, there was more underground than just animals and ore, as I soon found this weird structure while exploring.
Oh, we can walk right through the wall. This is behind. Okay, so we're inside of it now, whatever this is.
It was an abandoned underground structure. Since it was empty, I moved on and found another. But since that one was empty too, I doubled back to the first and decided to open this box.
All right, let's crack this thing open and see what happens.
Be ready for a whole bunch of pixels.
I was expecting it to explode or drop a poison cloud or drop a swarm of enemies or something, but it was just money.
Yes, indeed. In Starbound, things are bought and sold with pixels as currency. Soon, I was back to exploring until I found some goodies in a box in another structure.
A copper pickaxe. It says it won't last for long, but you can dig pretty fast with it. Can I take these things themselves? I'll use these up at my base.
After that bit of undeniably beautiful box thievery, I moved on further through the cave and made a discovery.
Okay, stalagmites and stalactites both hurt. Worth noting.
Thanks, in-game me, I've made a note. Make another note that I found gold here.
I assume this is just gold. It just looks like gold. It is gold.
With both gold and silver obtained, I moved on further through the cave, eventually finding a lot more iron to go with the other resources.
There's a lot more iron here, and I don't know if that's because of the area we're in or just because we happened upon more. This says it will dig pretty fast, so I want to see what this does if we're digging pretty fast.
So I swung my copper pickaxe, and as it turns out, it does actually mine faster than the piece of futuristic technology in my hand.
It's a bigger area and it does more damage, or it does damage more quickly. It does dig pretty fast. It looks like it's a 3x3 instead of a 2x2.
Let it be known that manual labor beats the power of machines. John Henry would be proud. It's worth noting that all the different pickaxes and drills in the game do degrade over time, while my manipulator does not. However, something else that degrades is my hunger bar, and it had slowly been depleting this entire time.
So we will find more guys down here that we can hunt for meat, so we don't need to leave immediately, but it would be good to find more of them. I thought we were chasing one here, but I guess he got a whoa, there he is.
Admittedly, it is somewhat foolish to know you're going to get hungry but not know where any food is going to come from. More on that later.
Oh, poison. Oh, poison.
Yes, this was an enemy who caused poison damage, but eventually I was able to deal with them.
They gave me venom samples.
But food was the only thing on my mind at that point in time.
Not delicious.
Undeniably undelicious, but I kept digging and eventually found something pretty sweet.
This has an axe. Damage per swing is 10. Our sword has damage per swing of 6. Rate of fire is 1.3. Rate of fire is 0.9. So it's slower, but I think it outright will replace our sword. It also shows a little venomous or poison. Can we take this with us? Some sort of poison icon on it. Toxic, so maybe it does poison damage as well.
And that poison axe was the first of many, many weapons I would find through my playthrough of Starbound. I then continued traveling further in the cave and found this incredibly mysterious door.
There's some sort of door to a challenging room that may attempt to traverse a pleasure. Okay, so there's a door here. I don't like being wet like this. It looks strange. There's a door here that we can go into to enter a challenging room.
These types of challenging rooms are found underground in Starbound. Although they're around, I didn't find too many, so I didn't have too many to explore, but we'll see a few. In the meantime, I had these thoughts about the room I had just found.
I don't know if a challenging room will result in food, but we're so low on food, it seems like it's worth a try. We're going to shoot these guys and then go into the challenging room and see if either of those will give us food.
And so, as it has through much of human history, hunger compelled innovation, exploration, and combat.
No food. All we have left is the challenging room.
So I entered the challenging room, completed an obstacle course that was full of dangerous and deadly challenges, and received some loot at the end for all of my efforts.
And the chest has a gun, a machine pistol, a tech card, a piano, and some sort of... It had pixels. There's a lot of strange stuff going on there. Where does this take us?
So, although my stomach would remain empty, my ears could be filled with the sounds from my sweet new guitar. Going through the door took me back to the cave system I had been in, and I found this bat to shoot.
Oh, there's something. There's something. You should have food, right? Wonder if he's poisonous. Maybe it's because there's slime. It's like a poison biome.
The slime I'm referring to there is that liquid to my left. It is in fact slime.
Leather.
As leather is not something I'm prone to eat, my chances of starvation returned to 100%. Thankfully, I found one more enemy in the cave, but after shooting him, my fate was sealed.
No food. I don't know what to do. What happens if we starve and die? Do you think I can out-heal my starving? I died.
No, you can't out-heal your starving with salve kits. Yeah, that death meant I had to return to the small outpost I built, but thankfully, you don't lose your bow or any of your weapons on death, meaning you can get right back into the action. You just have to go collect all of the other items. Before doing that, I stopped at my base to build an apex flag, which would allow me to teleport from my ship directly to my base rather than needing to traverse the planet over again, in the foreshadowed event that I should die again. Thankfully, this time I did manage to go back underground and spy my items.
There's my stuff.
And after killing another cave monster, I took some time to reflect on the entire experience of dying and being reborn.
Overall, I think that was a net positive. I've got what looks like all of my stuff back, and I got more food.
I killed another of those little poison monsters for my first living brute.
I got a living root.
Then, in a nearby cave, I found a chest with an important item inside.
Chest, and inside we have a one-handed wave axe, which attacks faster than my axe, as well as some health kits.
After that, I found the menu with upgrades for my manipulator module, which meant I could mine faster, mine more, or mine further away from me. Very useful in the future. After checking out those manipulator module upgrades, I progressed further down the cave and made this big discovery.
You can see over here, there's some lava. It looks like maybe one of those things we're supposed to find.
That discovery was followed by this promise I made to you and to myself.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 100% going to go with the main quest line and remain on task.
No matter what you've seen when I play other games, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to remain on task in Starbound. Now go ahead and surrender that bottom dollar that you bet, because the very next thing I did was mine the slime block leading to a slime cave-in and ultimately this situation. They say drowning is one of the worst ways to die, but drowning in slime you poured on your own head may in fact be worse. Thankfully, I was able to teleport directly back down to my base, meaning I could get back into my cave system faster and more efficiently than before. I quickly recollected my lost items, and then I started exploring the cave again and found some lava. I tried to extinguish the lava by pouring slime on top of it, but then discovered that once you pour slime on top of lava, it only turns the slime into more lava, meaning I was actively making the situation in the cave worse.
Yep, that's not good. That's bad. 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 That's bad.
After boarding up the slime fall I had started, I went down and grabbed the crystals, and thankfully the one deposit was enough to power the entire station and complete my mission. Next, rather than returning to the surface with my bounty of crystals, I decided it was better to investigate the core of the planet and see what was going on.
It looks like there's something below me right here.
An item in the ground is an item that I need to snatch up.
Ah, it's a diamond. Okay.
After that, I kept digging around deeper in the cave until I found another box that held my first manipulator module.
Okay, so here's a manipulator module. So I'm glad we came down here. It's only one module, but it only takes a few to upgrade. Oh.
Yeah, so that's all a big lie. It takes more than a few to upgrade, and some of the later upgrades take a whole lot of modules. But for now, let's carry on. Speaking of carrying on, I carried on down the cave until I reached the very bottom of the world, or a giant cliff that looked to be the bottom.
Kind of want to know what's below where we're at now. We don't need it. I don't know if... Oh.
And so I burned until I panned the camera down to look what was below me, and seeing a giant river of lava, I decided that was enough of that.
Heading home.
And so I started my ascent to head back home until I paused to observe my favorite time of the day.
Gun time. I did not get what I wanted out of that gun.
Yeah, for some reason there I expected a gun to solve all of my problems rather than being another weapon in my repertoire. I headed back down to the planet's surface and straight into the cave immediately to get my stuff back. On my way, I discovered how useful ropes were, as they work like a tiny grappling hook. This grappling hook was useful for navigating the caves, but also became in handy for death runs, as I lost all of my health kits on death, and this let me avoid more lethal combat.
Oh yeah, that's way more helpful. Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing could save me or my microphone from the lethal combat that followed.
Are you kidding me?
So I went again. I realized during my descent that the ice damage of my pistol was slowing down my enemies.
Oh yeah, they're way slower.
And made it to within arm's reach of my stuff before having another moment.
I died again! I died again! I died again!
Apologies to my microphone for all the red bars I was giving it there. On my next descent, I got all of my items back, but I also let it be known that I was done.
I'm never coming back down here again as far as I'm concerned, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain everything down that way so I can get my stuff and move on with my life.
So I took a bit of fire damage and got my stuff, and eventually made my way back to the surface.
Finally, after all of those deaths, I'm back.
Returning to my base, I processed all the metals I had found underground.
Gotta stop here to make 73 iron bars.
And I used those new resources to build more facilities around my base, including the anvil.
Bill, supposedly it lets us build weapons and armor.
Only to discover that every upgrade on the anvil demanded tungsten, which I had not found.
Everything takes tungsten.
And while some of the recipes didn't take tungsten, I figured it would be better to put off the recipes for a little bit rather than just settle for getting into the ground floor. Instead, I resumed my mission, returning to the gate and using the crystals I had found underground. This started a phone call with an old woman and opened a portal to some distant land, which naturally I jumped right into given the chance.
So we're teleporting from the base to some ruins.
That ruin turned out to be the Ark, a sort of hub area that's home to different shops, stalls, and vendors. But my quest took me past all of that to an old woman named Esther who sat alone in a chair. Esther explained that I was a protector, a group that provides aid to the galaxy. Long ago, there was a force known as the Cultivator. It kept the universe at peace, but after some time, a giant tentacle monster known as the Ruin began destroying things. The Cultivator sealed the Ruin away with 6 artifacts. Lately, the defenses have begun to weaken, meaning tentacles are popping out and destroying innocent graduation ceremonies, among other things. To reseal the door, I would have to obtain an artifact from each race, enter the door, and defeat the Ruin, once and for all. Just as exciting was that for listening to that, I was given a reward, followed by a new quest where I was to go and speak with Penguin Pete to get things kicked off. I found Pete not so far away, sitting among the penguin folk, and speaking with him started a new mission where I was to go to an underground facility and mine crystals to use as fuel. On my way to that abandoned mining facility, I stopped off here to bookmark a teleport before stumbling across this scientist who provided some of the easiest quests I've ever done.
Okay, that was the easiest quest I've ever done.
But that same scientist's next quest was something completely different.
He wants me to do an obstacle course, so I'm going to do that real quick. That way we get another reward. We can just keep moving through this base thing.
The obstacle course was for dash tech, where, by double tapping the movement keys, I could move faster for a brief period of time. Very zoomy, very useful. Who doesn't love a dashing protector? And the reward for completing that quest is probably a surprise to no one.
So he gave us dash tech, where we can dash around.
He waited no time at all before giving another quest.
He wants 10 silver bars, but we have about 1,000,000 silver bars. So we can turn that in quickly. And he has another piece of tech that he wants us to try out. So let's go try out some more tech.
That tech was a double jump, so I was sent to a different obstacle course, this time to practice jumping and jumping again. And of course, after that was done, I returned to the scientist and turned in the quest as quickly as possible.
He gave us the double jump tech. What else does he have?
He had another obstacle course. Unfortunately, that quest required a bunch of gold, and I didn't have enough gold, so I was on my way to do other things. First, it was returning to my ship, where I found the computer that would give me the mission to explore the abandoned mining facility. Without any hesitation at all, I headed off.
Okay, so this mining facility is the mission. We're supposed to come here to get crystals of some kind.
With a clear task in front of me, I made my way down through the facility, only stopping for one small nap. And I disclosed my most intimate suspicions, as though you were my personal diary.
They're giving me bandages and pixels. It just makes me think something awful's about to happen.
And something awful happened every time you pull one of these levers or open a door. These little shellless lobsters would show up and start trying to attack you. Very disgusting and quite scary, frankly. As it turns out, my fear was justified, as I am less coordinated than a naked shellless lobster person. Not sure which is more off-putting, the sound of me sucking my teeth there, or how badly I'm sucking at Starbound. With renewed determination, I headed back into the facility, finding the one thing that would stop me from pooping my pants at the horrors of the facility.
I'm hiding.
A wise play, as you cannot poop what's been pre-pooped, and pre-pooping is of paramount importance when fighting shellless naked lobstermen. I continued fighting my way to the depths until eventually I was overtaken by the powers of the crustacean people. Rest assured that, thanks to the pre-pooping, that grunt was completely cosmetic, and there was no doogie discharge. Realizing I was simply taking too much damage from the monsters at the mining facility, I went back to my base and made a full set of armor to use. Feeling much better about things, I headed back.
I've got armor, and I should be fully unstoppable.
Heading back in with my new armor, I prepared myself for the horrors of the facility. I found blueprints in boxes underground as I went. In Starbound, those allow you to make different items. Though it took me some time to figure out exactly how blueprints work, which ultimately was fine because I never made anything from the blueprints.
Found this man who can't hold out much longer. He's got blast door blueprints. Can I read these? Does that use them up?
That is exactly right. Reading blueprints gives knowledge, and as we all know, knowledge is power. So I was now one sliding door and a lantern more powerful than I was a minute ago. As it turns out, the shellless lobsters are a dish best served with cheese, so I figured out how to open the doors, shoot my lobster foes, and then shut the doors on them before they could get to me. This resulted in me taking very little, if any, damage.
Using my old tricks again.
While this was one of the first times I cheesed enemies, it certainly would not be the last. It's safe to assume that anytime you see me fighting, I'm looking for opportunities to cheese my foes. As I descended, I found more pickaxes, eventually stumbling across some of the highest fashion in the galaxy.
Space headwear. We're going to use that absolutely 100%. If we can do any fashion. Oh, yeah. That's hot right there. Total fashionista.
While fashionable, it is worth noting that a number of items in Starbound have absolutely zero stats, so it's a nice helmet, but it's as useless as a flashlight on the sun. I continued pressing onward, fighting through schools of the crustacean folk.
How many of these guys am I supposed to take out at once? Because this is ridiculous. Holy cow.
After thinning that herd, I found some more pants, found a hat left by the village people,
More fashion.
and finally started to near the end of my first mission.
This says I'm in peril, so whatever we're doing, I think we're getting closer to the end.
And soon I reached this very conveniently placed satellite device. This works as a checkpoint should you die in the cave. Very helpful if something dangerous is lurking just around the next corner. That next corner had one more cosmetic item for me to snatch up before arriving at a very ominous door. What I encountered inside of the door was described as a horror, so naturally I started shooting immediately. This damage was completely in vain, as this boss is defeated by activating 4 levers around the room and then moving to the bottom of the room where you turn on one mega power source to damage the boss. After the boss takes some damage, it turns all of the switches back off and throws large sweeping attacks into the room. These must be avoided while flipping the switches back on to deal additional damage to the boss. In time, the fight ended with me dealing the final blow and the miners coming rushing back into the room. Once inside, they thanked me and told me to help myself to items in a chest up ahead.
You're welcome. I will. Thank you.
I approached the chest and took a little peek inside.
Okay, so there's what appears to be a shotgun and a rocket launcher as a reward, and 20 iron bars for killing that boss, which is just feels like crazy stuff. This is a unique weapon. It dropped its eyeball. We have a capture pod to capture monsters. Is that this? This seems remarkably close to another game. Remarkably close.
Yeah, there's a capture mechanic in this game that's remarkably similar to Pal World, but more on that later. For now, it's mission complete. Back to the Ark we go.
So we talked to him.
Talking to Penguin Pete was the first step in getting our ship back up and running. The next step was to talk to Esther, who would have us scan a number of items around the Ark to get to know everybody and everything going on there. While completing that, I stumbled across some penguins who had some serious affairs underway.
This penguin's quest is to go and defeat Dreadwing. I just have this feeling that this quest is like more complicated than talking to this penguin lets on. So we're just going to leave that one for right now, especially because we just finished the last quest or the other quest. And if we turn this in, we get paid.
Since payment can result in weapons or armor, my thinking was it was better to get paid and more prepared to fight Dreadwing than to get pulverized by a penguin. The next quest in the main quest line was to find and scan Florian things around the galaxy, as I explained in great detail here.
This says we're supposed to look for Florians, which live in dense forests, gentle stars. So we need to start moving around in our ship to find these forests in the stars, these dense planets, dense forest planets with dense forests. We have to find these aliens. We have to scan their homes, and then we come back here.
If you're still awake after that long explanation, I'm supposed to find and scan items from the Florian people, then return to Esther with my findings. It's not that complex. Beaming to my ship and setting coordinates, I traveled to a forest planet in my current system.
Okay, this place says the threat level is moderate, but it is a forest planet, which is what we're looking for. So we're going to go ahead and land, I think. If we right-click it, we go there.
Landing on the planet, I began what would turn out to be one of the most common gameplay loops of Starbound.
There's just a man here selling chilies and an old television.
Not the chili man. Simply put, the loop is walking until you find a base or some sort of structure, clearing out any enemies or monsters from inside of the structure, and then scan anything that looks different or unique or just shows up green when you have the scanner equipped.
Brent, that looks like it's worth scanning maybe. Hey, look at that.
Accordingly, I continued exploring the base I had found here, lamenting the strength and range of my foes.
The range on their guns just feels a bit far.
The range is admittedly a bit far, but they're also able to eat missiles like they're made of cheese.
You blocked by missile?
Yes, after they ate and blocked my missiles for a while, I felt like I was outnumbered and it would be better to just leave.
Goodbye.
Most weapons in Starbound have an alternate fire on the right click, and as I said I love to cheese my enemies, I use that to stand above them and use my guided missile to fire rockets down.
Yeah. Yeah, not fun when I have a guided missile, is it?
Simply untrue. I was having a great time, and before long I had whittled down their numbers.
Where'd you go, big boy? Nice shield, stupid.
After quieting down my enemies and putting all of them to a nice little nap, I played with some of the weapons I had found in the mining facility in my last mission.
Yeah.
I found more weapons as I continued to explore deeper.
Ooh, a box of goodies. Ooh.
Now let's not get too excited about that spear. It gets very few miles on this playthrough. Admittedly, it was useful in instances like this, where I needed a barrier against flying enemies.
That's kind of handy.
About as handy as a power toothbrush in an Amish community. Remaining on task, I paused briefly to cook some food as I was getting hungry, and then uttered words I would come to regret over and over again.
I think we're one artifact off of being done with this quest, and so if we can just find something here to scan, we should be good, but I'm not finding anything here to scan.
Without anything else to scan, I returned to the surface and found some more of the game's mini monsters.
Are you an animal? Do you have steak? You do have steak. Okay, I thought you might be I don't know, something intelligent.
I continued to explore the surface, but slowly began to lose my mind as I didn't find any structures.
We're gonna have to find more structures somewhere.
While looking for more structures, I practiced swinging a hammer.
The hammer's kind of like the axe where it does a big old whack.
And brought down some of the planet's largest flora.
Bring down the beanstalk, boys. Oh, it's all just plant fibers? Woof.
I don't know why I said woof there. I think I expected it to be timber, but salves are made with plant fibers, so plant fibers coming in abundance like that is very useful. Up next, I found this water that Jesus must have walked on because...
When I step in this water, I start to get healed. This is a healing spring of some kind. That's kind of cool.
Very cool, very tubular, very groovy. The next groovy find was some ores that were placed conveniently on the planet's surface.
There's no way that's tungsten, right? That is in fact tungsten. We found tungsten on the surface of the planet. It's just lingering here. How handy is that? Oh my.
That pillar of ice is the right-click attack option on my hammer. Very ice-squisite. Next, my traversal across the surface brought me in contact with a unique item that I was never able to use in my whole playthrough.
Okay, there's a teleporter core here that's rare and used for personal crafter, as well as a pair of hiking trousers.
While I love a pair of trousers, the teleporter's use remains a mystery to this day. Soon after, I found another container and decided it was time to give some thoughts.
Another suitcase, this one with more hiking trousers, and an upgrade thing for my device. I feel like those are far more common than they thought they would be.
That is an astute observation which proved to be correct. It was far more common to find manipulator modules while exploring than I thought it would be. Case in point, here's me finding another one.
There's a chest under this floor, under the water. What could it be?
If you guessed it was a manipulator module, which it was, we need people like you, who are very intelligent, to stick around here, so go ahead and like and subscribe. Next, I learned that Starbound has the realism that Grand Theft Auto and the Elder Scrolls could only hope to catch a whiff of.
So food just rots? What rotted? Something is rotten. What do I do with it? Can I stack it? Just throw it all away? Gross.
After that, all of the manipulator modules paid off.
Okay, but that was our 8th device. With 8 of the modules done, we'll upgrade this to just be larger. So now we should mine in just a bigger area, I think.
Oh, you pinata-brained person. You clicked the one that makes you mine faster, not bigger areas.
Nope, something happened.
But I did catch my mistake as fast as I had made it.
Oh, it was the speed. I did the wrong one. Well, crap on a cactus.
It was very much a crap on a cactus kind of situation, bordering on a crap-a-doodle-doo fiasco. Eventually, after navigating most of the surface of this planet, I finally found another structure.
This looks like something worth exploring. What do we think this is? Is it Florian? Florin? Is this Florin? This doesn't look Florin at all. Florin was like lizardy, kind of jungly, and this is kind of medieval castle. Seems dangerous. Doesn't seem Florin.
Not Florin in the least, but there were some cool items spread around the place.
Tungsten in a box.
While exploring this base, I also learned the lesson that sometimes within structures there are secret rooms holding secret treasure.
Oh, a secret door. Ooh, a secret door with weapons. Oh my gosh, a sniper rifle? Okay. Can we take the chest? Okay. That's a good secret door.
And what more can really be said about this dungeon than what I said in the moment?
Quite the dungeon you've got here. Yes.
Indubitably.
There's a treasure chest down there in the lava room. So we've got to go explore the lava room. Oh, a roll of hay. How inconspicuous. Aha! Oh. Doesn't have anything.
While exploring the structure, I also learned that you can find different facilities out in the world.
Oh, an anvil. We can just work on this? We'll take this with us.
Finally, I decided what I really needed from this structure was a little friend to go with me on my travels.
I don't know what this animal is, but I want to hit it with this little ball. So we're going to see if we can hit it with the little ball, maybe poke him on it. It looks cool, so one more. Aha! Ooh! Capture a monster.
Thrilled, I asked.
What do we do with it?
And while I didn't have an answer, my thirst for pets had only just begun.
Oh, you're not friendly. What in the world?
While dangerous and fire-breathing, this looks like a perfect thirst quencher.
Okay. Phoenix. Okay.
Next, as I made my way toward the exit, I found a door.
There's some sort of door up there.
Stepping into the door, I was teleported to an obstacle course similar to the one that gave us our tech powers back at the Ark. And for completing that course, I was awarded with another box of loot, which included weapons and tech components. After finding more weapons in this handy guillotine,
Just sleeping on a guillotine.
I grabbed the guillotine and took it with me, deciding it was time to make my way out of the dungeon. Before I could do that, I made another incredible find.
What is this? A poison resist augment for an EPP. Okay. Well, that seems very important, so I'm going to take that. I can't. I don't have room. Well, trousers are getting pitched.
I pitched those pants and discovered it was more than just one module.
Oh my gosh, there were 2 modules in here? And that Manticon Nebusticular. I gotta throw away some more pickaxes.
And then much lighter, without pickaxes and pants, it was finally time to ascend up out of the dungeon. Back on the surface, I bumped into a different merchant. This time, I decided to sell items based on my travels into the dungeon.
Here you go, lady. What do you want for? What do you do for this? 270 for the sniper rifle? That seems. Oh, gotta go.
Eventually, the merchant and I were able to complete our transaction, a giant win for commerce all over the planet. I then bumped into some violent people who were sporting bandanas and dressed like assassins.
Oh my gosh.
And finally, I believed I found enough manipulator module pieces to be able to upgrade my device.
Okay, this time we've got 8. And so we're going to unlock. That one takes 12. Do any of these take 8? That one's more range. And this one allows us to collect liquids. Sure. The reason we're collecting liquids is if we can get the healing water, we could just take that on our way with us. Then we could always heal.
Finally, I did circumnavigate the planet and found a mission.
So this man that we had seen forever ago, where we did circumnavigate the planet now, he's asking us to go find Silvernail. And if we find this man named Silvernail and give him 6 timber, we will get paid in a mysterious item again.
And so the hunt for Silvernail began.
Has anybody seen Silvernail? I'm using the biggest eyeball I can find to help me locate him.
I found a gun while I searched for Silvernail and was very impressed when I tested it out.
Nice.
Then, while running across the landscape with my new gun, I met my most musical enemy to date.
Something sounds like music very far away. I don't know if you can hear that or not. You whistling? Why are you whistling? Bro, you were about to get roasted. I don't know why you're whistling. Roasted.
Eventually, I realized to find Silvernail, I would have to venture underground, so I did so, killing monsters along the way.
Hi, buddy. How's it going? Pretty hot?
I found Silvernail standing alone in a room in a castle and realized very quickly.
Is this just the castle we were in before? This is just the castle we were in before. Oh, Silvernail. You obnoxious little man. Why did you choose to live in here? We were here earlier. Why didn't you choose to live here when we were here?
Yeah, there were a lot of questions for Silvernail, but he remained tight-lipped, so eventually I had to head back to the quest giver, who, for all of my efforts, rewarded me with a common pistol.
So, whatever this is, a pistol. Just a pistol.
With that, I returned to my ship, realizing that there were going to be no more Florian items on the planet. I decided it was time to try a different one. So without hesitation, I went to another forest planet, beamed down urgently, and then got to exploring as quickly as possible. Exploring buildings on the surface of the planet and utilizing my pet in a ball for combat to disastrous results.
Can my little pokey thing attack? Oh my gosh. Well, guess that's a no.
After the death of my pocket pal, I found a man, a type of which I've never seen, in a house, a type of which I've never known.
There was a mushroom man in a mushroom house. Hello, mushroom man. How's it going in here? Things don't look so good right now.
Quickly, the serenity of the mushroom house was lost, the situation becoming perilous.
Mushroom man, be ready to defend your mushroom house. They're coming inside.
After defending the home, I moved on to find something extraordinary.
There's more mushroom people. It's a whole mushroom community. Are we cool? I think we should be cool. Guess of Molotov cocktails, which seems a little intense. And a hammer. One-handed hammer weapon. Also a bit intense. No books though, not big readers, huh? Just hammerers. I respect that.
And much to my delight, I found even more of the mushroom people in their little mushroom village.
More mushroom houses. I was expecting... Oh, a little mushroom chest. I was expecting to find something different. Oh, a mushroom shield. That makes sense, yeah. You would expect to find one of those here.
Absolutely, you would expect to find a mushroom chest. What you wouldn't expect to find is what I discovered in the next mushroom house.
This man sells a medieval toilet. He just teleported in out of nowhere to sell a medieval toilet. He sells... This other guy sells grapes. And this last fellow, raw bacon and a beach ball.
Grapes, toilets, beach balls, and bacon. Not exactly mushroom people kind of stuff, but I'm all about it.
I don't know. Sure, I'll do it. I don't know why that's helpful, and none of that's Florin. Is this the healing water? Nope, just water. Okay, is this Florin? This looks Florin. Can I scan you? There we go.
And with that, my search for the Florin items was complete, so I spoke with the locals just a bit more before heading out.
You guys are very fancy. You're a lot nicer than the last Florins I met. They were trying to kill me. You'll be very upset to know those Florins are violent.
I then gave my thoughts on the game's many musical instruments I had stumbled across.
So many musical instruments in this game. I found zero occasion to use any of them, but there are so many.
And concluded it would be best to focus on just the main quest rather than the miscellaneous ones I'd picked up.
I don't really want to go all the way. Can I cancel this?
I could, and so I did, choosing instead to follow the main quest.
Yeah, I'm just going to abandon it.
So I returned the quest at Esther, and then, based on my Florian knowledge, was given a new mission.
Hey, we're going to compete in a ritual hunt. A ritual hunt. I don't know what a ritual hunt is. It's a ceremonial hunting cavern. Use the mission interface to access the location. It sounds like we need to go back to the ship.
Before heading back to the ship, I stopped at the Ark for some snazzy upgrades.
I'm going to go ahead and install a sprint. I know it's going to take some energy, but I think getting around the planets faster is going to be a net positive.
And then I went back to the ship and used the mission computer to go to the hunting grounds.
Supposed to find an artifact in the hunting grounds.
And to find that artifact, I had to descend into this cave, fighting my way through the inhabitants, and pausing for the periodic exposition dump by this pink-haired Florian girl. As I ventured deeper, the dangers of the cave continued to increase.
Nice shield, buddy.
But I continued to fight my way through.
Nice pieces of a shield, buddy.
And nearing the bottom, my computer started giving me helpful hints that put me on edge.
Fairly large creature to produce this much matter. It's just a giant spider. There's nothing else in the game it could possibly be than some sort of giant spider.
And so, having made my guess of what awaited me at the end of the tunnel, I made my way past the final door into the lair.
Certainly looks like a spider.
To be honest, though, it was not exactly a spider.
Uh-oh. Oh, gross.
It was an unquestionably gross monster, and only grosser as it went on to shed its shell.
Gross.
After a while, the boss would put its shell back on again, you'd have to deal with waves of little enemies on the ground, and then eventually, when the shell would peel back off, you could do more damage to the boss. The cycle went on for the duration of the fight. But eventually, something had to give.
I really need to punish the boss whenever it loses its shell, but my goodness, these little dudes are just creating such a problem. Both in my inability to stand still, and the constant damage I'm taking. Oh, that'll do it.
And that did in fact do it. First attempt boss kill complete. After the fight ended, I went upstairs to where the relic was kept and snatched it off its stand.
So the girl's gonna come with us. We've recovered one of the keys. We've gotten a handful of... Okay. Gotten a handful of things, including codex, weapons, a one-handed sword, which does fire damage. That might be a nice little addition.
And with that mission out of the way, it was back to Esther for a Steam achievement and a reward for the mission. This was immediately followed by another mission wherein we would scan items owned by the Hyodal people. Instead of following up on that mission, I decided to take a break and try out the new gladiator arena unlocked by my new Florian friend.
Oh, you have guns here in this gladiator tournament? Seems inappropriate. Oh my gosh.
And so, in realizing that wasn't for me, I stopped by my ship and improved some of the facilities on it, and used those new facilities to create a backpack that I could use to explore the nearby moons. I believe these moons would be necessary to get crystals to use for fuel to complete hyperdrive jumps.
This backpack says it helps in places with no breathable atmosphere, and this moon that we're over says it has no breathable atmosphere. So I think we need this backpack in order to explore the moon, maybe? It says no atmosphere. So now we have the backpack, we can explore the moon, and we should be fine, I think.
I then topped off my backpack with a new augment,
Equip with the right click, poison resist. Okay.
and so I headed to the moon, giving lengthy thoughts upon my arrival.
So on this moon, we're supposed to be finding, I think it said hyperspace fuel was on the moons, which I'm gonna guess is this purple stuff here, maybe? But it said there was a great evil on the moon. So I'm not, moon dust and moon rock. I'm not sure what is evil. Detecting entities attracted by the moon's deposits. It says as you collect more fuel, their interest in you will increase. Well, the atmosphere here is fun. Okay, in the top left corner, there's a picture of a purple ghost. So do we just grab this stuff and leave before the ghost shows up? Not really interested in fighting a ghost. Are we actually fighting? Or is it just gonna come and kill us?
And after some time mining, a new friend showed up on the planet.
Oh my gosh. Well, there are asteroids falling and you're a big boy. You are a big boy. Do you die? Do you bleed? Do you take any damage whatsoever? Nope. Okay, so these are just falling? There's just meteors falling and that guy's just lurking and creepishly closer.
After running and mining for some time, I thought I had enough crystals, so I decided to end the game of cat and mouse.
He just keeps coming. Okay, we're gonna call it. That's the moon. Let's get out of here.
After my time on the moon, I found an oceanic planet in a nearby galaxy and jumped over there to start my Hyodal scanning process. I arrived at and then beamed down onto my first oceanic planet and made a leap of faith into the terrifying depths of the sea.
Is this what we're supposed to do? We just jump into the ocean?
After sinking for some time, I made a discovery.
Oh, there's stuff down here. Hold on. Okay, ocean. I see you. Let's go, ocean. So on ocean planets, do we have more oxygen? Because I have not started to drown yet. Whereas on other planets, if I was underwater this long, I would already be drowning.
The answer is that the backpack I just built gave me unlimited oxygen, allowing me to survive underwater or other liquids as long as needed. Eventually, I finally stumbled across a structure.
Ah, maybe this is it. Maybe this is our place. It looks fancy.
But while exploring inside, I had thoughts about what I was finding.
Titanium. I don't know how I feel about just getting all of the ores from the game.
Yeah, above ground exploration that provided all of the ores started to make diving underground feel a little bit unnecessary, but I digress. Ores aside, I had another breakthrough on the systems in the game while I was exploring the underwater base.
Okay, this canned food is extremely well preserved, so that makes me think canned food is going to be maybe the most effective way to transport food for a long period of time.
Spoiler alert, it is. In my playthrough, canned food was by far the best way to keep my food supply ready to go. While I was having no luck finding Hyodal things to scan, I did have some luck finding packages with manipulator modules in them.
That is enough of those upgrade units to make it so we can mine 3x3 tile.
With my 3x3 upgrade plugged in, I dove deeper into the base until I finally stumbled across something of value.
Ah, we found something that belongs to the people. This is one of their places.
I continued to swim and scan everything I could find that looked out of place,
Aha, another one. We're now 2 out of maybe 10.
including items I found while going through the boxes of the inhabitants.
Okay, so I gathered the bridge painting out of this box, and I guess that counted as an artifact.
It did count as an artifact, though it offered little scientific value. If only we could find something that offered some scientific value.
Science.
Ah yes, a lab coat, the most scientific item of all. Finishing in that structure, I headed back out into the ocean at large, before coming to a very sad realization.
You know, we went to that one forest planet to scan the last civilization, and it didn't have enough stuff on it. So I guess there's a chance that this planet won't have enough.
Enough of the Hyodal items was my thought before I trailed off into just looking into the depths of the ocean. But don't get so down on yourself, buddy. Here's a clip of me finding the first of what I think was 3 seashell shields.
Complementing our mushroom shield, we now have a seashell shield.
After the shell shield, I found a recipe for reef juice,
Reef juice. We can make that reef juice.
before finding a very ominous underwater structure, a big metal base where all sorts of things were happening.
Oh, that's a bit different. I don't think that's what we're looking for. Oh, that is in fact something we're looking for. You learn to craft a pressurized girder. I'm very excited about getting girded.
Girders aside, I did find other items that I was looking for.
These people's furniture fills up this place. I love it.
The other thing I loved about this base was all the different facilities it housed, including this one for cooking.
Spooky donut.
But perhaps my favorite thing about this base was that upon scanning this fountain, I completed my quest for Esther and was able to return to the Ark with all of the Hyodal information. So I quickly wrapped up some of the side quests I had picked up from the different people around the base,
Oh, these guys are very close by. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is easy money.
wiped those enemies out quickly to return a bounty I picked up on returning some socks,
You steal the socks, you get the shots.
and again made my way back to Esther to turn in the quest, before getting another quest that would send me on a mission, which meant going back up to the ship's mission computer, and initiating that mission. Much like the Florian mission, this one had me exploring a facility with a companion who would eventually join my crew should I be successful. I navigated through the ancient library, moving down a series of elevators, getting deeper and finding more difficult enemies as I went. Eventually I reached a checkpoint similar to the one I had found in the Florian area before the boss, and eventually made my way into what would prove to be the most difficult boss fight in my entire playthrough. The Hyodal seemed to be based on Asian culture, and likewise, this boss seemed to be based on samurai, complete with throwing knives and sword slash attacks that dealt massive damage should I fail to get out of the way. However, by far the most punishing attack was this ball attack, where the boss would turn into a ball, leap up in the air, and then slam into me in ball form, where I would lose massive amounts of health rapidly.
Holy cow, that hurt.
One of the errors I was making here was using salves, which heal over time and aren't very useful against the rapid attacks of the ball.
Oh!
And I continued to enter the chamber and fight, even though it continued to hurt. GG's, buddy.
What in the world? I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I feel like I'm missing something obvious.
And after saying that, I headed right back in.
All right, I'm lost. No idea.
But even admitting out loud that I was lost didn't stop me from heading right back in.
I do not understand what I'm supposed to do.
Finally, after figuring out that I could use bandages to heal myself in the heat of battle, I made progress against Asra Nox.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Bye-bye. Send him out of here.
Let Esther know there's no hope. I'm gonna let you know it's time for some poison damage.
37 pixels. That is disappointing.
I moved to the final room of the chamber and collected the key which would complete the mission, found and looted a reward chest for all of my struggles, had an unexpected moment with the blue dude who'd guided me through the base,
Wow, completely unexpected, but Kochi has joined.
and once again returned Esther for a quest complete and a Steam achievement. Admittedly, as Esther gave me my next quest, bits of my cynicism began to poke through.
Oh, look at that. We've got to go scan avians. Completely unexpected turn of events. We're going to be scanning stuff.
After kicking off that mission, I decided to take a break and upgrade some facilities around the ship.
I guess we'll go ahead and upgrade the furnace. I don't really know what upgrading a furnace does.
and can now make Durasteel, which I think we picked up on the last mission, and titanium, which we've picked up so many of.
With the new facilities constructed, I inspected the new armor and weapons that I could build, and then ultimately decided I needed to build a new backpack.
Is there a different suit? There is a different suit. We already have a venom sample.
With my backpack upgraded, I was now able to explore radioactive stars, which is where I would find the avians. So I headed off to do so. Arriving in the new galaxy, I headed for the most elegantly named planet I could find.
All right, we're going to head to Horsebutt Stream.
And before heading down to the planet, I made a discovery about my backpack.
So I upgraded my backpack, and it appears to have lost the augmentation for poison damage, so it's possible that we have to pull that out whenever we insert it. Can we pull it back out, I wonder? Or is it permanent?
It is permanent, which is unfortunate given that the next planet I landed on was completely toxic. Toxic in ocean, meaning I could do absolutely nothing but turn around and leave. Rather than continue on the main quest line, I decided it was time to return to the Ark and speak with the scientist who had given me technology earlier. He sent me to another obstacle course, this time to practice my abilities turning into a ball. After proving my spherical expertise, I returned to the scientist who gave me the ability to turn into a ball whenever I wanted. After that, I explored more of the Ark, deciding it was time to speak with the penguins about using a mech suit, which resulted in a different obstacle course.
Okay, so it's an obstacle course for a mech.
After zooming through the course as quickly as possible, I returned to the penguin who asked me to go through it in the first place.
Okay, so that gave us the whole set of mech boosters.
It actually just gave me the entire mech for use out of my spacecraft. Very handy. After my chat with the penguins, I continued to explore the Ark and figured out that I could expand my spaceship for tens of thousands of pixels.
We're gonna need a lot more money to be able to do this.
I then returned to my ship where I upgraded and added to some of my facilities before going to the next planet in the system.
I'm heading over to Horsebutt Stream 1 as Horsebutt Stream 2 has too much poison. The oceans are too deep.
Horsebutt Stream 1 was a desert planet where I walked around for a long time before getting the Steam achievement.
Wow, sweet revenge.
An achievement for killing 100 flying enemies. Very violent, very inspirational. Determined to find something on this desert planet, I continued to explore until...
Well, that seems like something good and worth noting.
This was definitely worth noting, as I went on to note...
Ah, okay, so this is avian type of stuff. Very cool looking.
Because I had died not long before finding this base, I had other business before delving deeper.
I need my stuff back before we get anywhere near that, so we're gonna keep moving. But it does look cool.
Yeah, for some reason, when I died, I thought it was going to be faster to circumnavigate the planet, and that circumnavigation resulted in me finding that avian base. It also resulted in this comment.
Maybe it's a testament to my own stupidity that I think it's faster to circumnavigate the world than to just go back to where I died.
It certainly would have been easier just to go back to where I died, as my circumnavigation efforts resulted in both the avian base and this.
What in the world am I finding? What is this? I don't want this. Ape flu is no joke. I don't want this. I want my stuff, and I want to explore the avian thing I found back there. Well, now he's hostile. I don't think he takes poison damage either.
And the enemies in this base were exactly what you'd expect.
Okay, it's monkeys.
These monkey folk are the apex, and they are, in fact, what I was.
Am I monkey? I think I was a monkey when I picked up my class.
Apex is a strange race that enjoys science and experimenting, though I decided to end the experiment that was happening at this base.
Yeah, everybody can go. Nobody needs to be here.
Because I had died not long before arriving at this base, my salve kit supply was very low, meaning regenerating health was an issue.
You can find somewhere to lay down and recover health. If I don't get more health back, it's really going to be bad.
Thankfully, I found other items at the base.
Sure.
With that wand being the first of a few that would make up my primary weapons for my playthrough, as it fit perfectly with my admittedly cheesy playstyle.
The staff is kind of super great for just hiding out and camping.
Unfortunately, my biggest foes were never the enemies I was cheesing, but the elevators along the way.
I'm gonna cry.
After a good cry, I decided to return to my first death pile, heading to the west side of the planet rather than the east side that housed the avian base and the monkeys.
First set of stuff is recovered. No thanks to you.
And then, for the first and possibly only time in my entire playthrough, my circumnavigation suspicions paid off.
I still think it's going to be faster to keep going this way until we get to the gorilla base. We'll clean out the gorilla base and then we can keep going to find the whatever, bird base. Ah, it was faster.
So I collected all of the stuff from my second death pile before venturing all the way to the very top of the monkey base. And upon my arrival, I was greeted by the base's leader, who, unlike any enemy I had fought before, decided to use his pocket pals in the battle.
Oh my goodness. Nope.
Which, as you guessed, made the fight pretty quick.
Oh no!
Leading to another death run where I was pecked by a pigeon.
Oh my god!
Of course, this warranted another death run where I found this fellow standing outside of the monkey base.
This just looks like somebody worth capturing, so we're gonna try the old ball again.
And so I tried the ball with great success.
Got him. Let's
check out what it is. It's common. It's some indescribable horror. Doesn't have a name, but it seems good. So maybe it'll be good.
Here's an explanation of why I chose to capture that guy.
I think that these facilities, since they've got like weird stuff going on, might have some of the more interesting animals to capture. They seem to be experimenting or something.
I climbed back up through the monkey facility and took on the leader, again fighting his endless barrage of pocket pals.
I'm sorry, how many animals do you have in balls, buddy?
Our fight continued until my foe slipped and fell into a nearby elevator shaft, allowing me to use sweet, easy cheese to take him out. Although it was hard to come to terms with vanquishing such an exquisite foe, I had other questions that needed answers.
How much do you think his room of stuff is worth? There's the box. It's a boomerang? A giant worm boomerang.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that's a Terraria reference, because the giant worm boomerang looks exactly like the giant worm from Terraria. I took that boomerang as well as my foe's prescription glasses
Ah, there's the stuff. Glasses.
before heading back to and diving into the depths of the avian base in order to progress the main quest. After killing a bunch of avians and stealing their treasure,
Ah, there we go. A pair of wings. That's what we needed. We look divine. We're finally looking proper.
I disclosed a harsh reality about the proper set of wings.
These wings don't actually make us fly, which is unfortunate. I was kind of hoping they would.
I completed a side quest that saw me delivering lumber to someone hanging out in the depths of this dungeon.
There we go. That is some timber delivered. Now all we have to do is get back and scan the rest of the stuff down here.
Scan, return, and steal all the items from the avians, including this gun I found in a nearby box.
Tesla's Wrath sniper rifle. That's a two-handed sniper, and I'm assuming since it's Tesla's Wrath, it's going to be some sort of electronic gun.
It was, in fact, an electronic gun, a very nice addition to my collection of weapons with different elemental damages. With the gun added to my repertoire, I continued to explore the avian base looking for anything else to scan until I got stuck in this buzzsaw pit. After making another strange death noise, I headed back to the pit, but was torn apart by the wildlife on my way there, though for some reason that death didn't result in any kind of mouth sound. I then returned to the pit of buzzsaws where I had died, only to discover that certain environmental hazards in Starbound only apply to the player.
Oh, okay. He's just fine in the pit. He can go down in the pit. I can't go in the pit. He can go in the pit.
Eventually, with the power of rope, I was able to collect all of my items
I
again,
wonder if this works the other way where we can descend. Ah, we can descend.
before exploring the last little bits of the tomb, which unfortunately did not give me enough avian items scanned to progress the main quest. With that planet fully explored, I returned to my ship and began experimenting with different facilities looking for the next upgrade. After searching through all the different facilities and options, I concluded there was only one way forward.
At this point, I'm just going to push every upgrade I can and hope that it helps. Hope that it's the right one. I don't know where the right upgrade is.
Eventually, after upgrading everything I could, I unlocked recipes for new facilities. With all of these facilities done, I determined that I needed to go to a planet that had both Durasteel and the potential for avians, as Durasteel was necessary for more upgrades. And so I arrived on Horsebutt Stream 2A. Soon after arrival, I stumbled across what was possibly some of the best headwear I had seen.
Wow. That might be the best headwear I've ever seen.
Predictably for me, exploring a new planet also meant exploring fun and new ways to get killed.
Oh my gosh.
Keeping in habit, I recovered all of my stuff again and then discovered more wildlife on the planet.
Oh my gosh, the guys here are so strong. They just keep ripping me apart.
Truthfully, none of the enemies on this planet were that strong. I just hadn't taken the time to upgrade my armor yet.
It doesn't help that I can't see anything. Doesn't help we've shown up in the middle of the night.
That part is true. Visibility is key when fighting. As daylight covered the planet's surface, I came across what might have been the strangest juxtaposition on this planet. An inn based in a medieval style of build.
Hospitable welcome.
Unfortunately, these were not the avians.
You're not the bird people I need. You're people with apples.
In hindsight, I should have been scanning as I explored this castle, as this was another race that I would need to find later on. For now, it was time to accept a quest from the princess in the base. Found some Durasteel.
Ah, she had Durasteel the whole time. All right, well, that sorts out what we needed. Durasteel obtained, and she has a golden drill. That just makes everything very easy, doesn't it?
And so, Durasteel in my inventory, I set out on the princess's quest to find someone at the nearby laboratory. Thankfully, the setback of death meant that returning to the castle would send me right by the lab where I was to pick up the princess's friend. Together, the two of us fought to return to the castle, to the princess, and eventually, overcoming the terrors of the night, we arrived back where I had died. From there, it was a pretty quick jog back into the castle, up into the tower, and then into a conversation with the princess where she gave us our reward. After my work at the castle was done, I continued exploring the surface of the planet, finding more mushroom folk living on the alien world.
Yeah, go outside, mushroom folk.
And for some reason, up until this point, I had pushed escape to skip all the respawn screens, so please note the text appearing at the bottom of the screen at this time.
Oh, this is why I keep... Oh, I didn't know I was losing pixels on death. Oh my gosh. We're losing a third of our pixels every time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it turns out that, unbeknownst to me, death had literally been costing me a third of my pixels every single time I had died. Thus, from this point on, I was far more motivated to stay alive. I remained motivated as I navigated a bog and found this frog fellow.
What a kind looking fellow. Oh, it's a whole village of these people. I love it. This is my favorite village.
Let it be known that I am a frog-loving fellow. Also, let it be known that these frog people had their own brand of apparel, which I enjoyed wearing.
I'm the Lagoon Man. Lagoon Man is going through your boxes. Is that banana? Banana?
Finally, after traveling through the bogs, lagoons, and jungles, at long last, I arrived back where I had died.
There we go. Finally, we're back.
With my stuff recovered and an inventory full of Durasteel, I decided it was time to leave the planet and go back to my ship where I would process everything and see where I stood on upgrades. Back in my ship, I upgraded the forge and then built a new helmet as well as a set of plate legs. I intended to build a chest plate, but since I didn't know where silk came from, that would have to wait for now. At this point, I had seen hostile ships appear on my radar enough that I decided it was time to engage with one. Upon reaching it, I jumped into my mech and headed out into space, but was quickly fined 30% of my pixels for my hubris.
Okay, so it has the same cost of pixels. I don't think our mech is ready for that.
It certainly was not, so instead I ventured to another planet. I floundered around on the ocean floor until I came across another structure wherein I accepted a quest that sent me to more depths, hoping that there would be more avian ruins. I added this bit of booty to the items I found throughout my travels.
Ooh, pirate wear.
As well as this healing augment, which is far more practical but less exciting than that pirate hat.
This is a healing augment, so it slowly will restore our health over time.
Then I was suddenly attacked by a fish allergy I didn't know that I had. Bless you. Finally, the compass began to indicate that the person I was looking for was almost directly beneath me, so I began to dig down to find them. This resulted in finding a cave system that eventually led into some underwater ruins.
I think I found the ruins, so I think things are getting a little better.
While exploring underwater, I found a trumpet, but was simply unwilling to take it with me, explaining that,
I don't think I want this trumpet. I don't really like the instruments in this game. I don't want to sit around and play a trumpet. Simply, the instruments are too whimsical for my purposes. I'm not full of that much whimsy. I want to get these missions done.
One must respect the amount of dedication and focus I had to learning about the avian people. Eventually, realizing I had taken too many items with me down into the dungeon, I decided to place a flag for some fast travel.
Calling this place Planet of Puddles.
Thankfully, I made that trip to deposit items on my ship because I found the most valuable item of my playthrough on the Planet of Puddles.
Oh yeah, that's the look right there. Look at that.
A fancy disguise for a fancy guy, who can deny? Another valuable item I found on the Planet of Puddles were manipulator modules, which allowed me to finally expand my 3x3 mining spot to a 4x4 on my manipulator. After that discovery, and at long last, I finally came across the fellow I was looking for, though I wasn't greeted in the way I expected.
I found my... Holy cow, there's a lot of people. Oh my gosh, they're supposed to kill him. Oh my goodness. I thought I was supposed to be bringing him back. Whoops.
Yes, a big whoops indeed, but don't worry, you have weapons for this sort of situation. And so I battled my way through the alcove, simply because someone earlier had told me to do so, and I went on without question. Surprisingly enough, there was actually a second set of people I was supposed to dispatch within the same structure.
It's a totally different set of people, and it's a totally different set that I'm also supposed to send away.
And so I dispatched the second set of people with extreme prejudice simply because someone earlier had told me to do so. After that base was sorted out, I explored underground for a while and made a discovery about food.
The mushrooms are giving me health over time, but nothing indicates that that's what they're gonna do. It just says it brings out all the flavor.
At this point, I realized I would not understand Starbound's complex food system and instead should just stick with canned food as my primary source of nutrients. I continued my spelunking underground until I came across another of those little obstacle courses, which I jumped at the chance to do just for the sake of changing things up. Before I exited the trial, I decided I wanted to explore further as I felt there might be secret loot tucked away inside.
I feel like that was too easy and maybe I missed something. Maybe there was some other thing in here. Nope.
And so there I was, stranded on the island in the back of an obstacle course.
I don't know how I get back from here. I was looking around too much.
After determining that the only way out was through, I tried a series of well-placed jumps and swings with my rope. Unsurprisingly, this resulted in a lot of burn damage, but surprisingly, this resulted in me being suspended above the lava in a more precarious kind of situation.
Oh, we made it.
After getting my feet settled underneath me, all I had to do was throw a rope up and climb up away from the lava to safety. And so I healed myself up with salve kits before making more rope and preparing to make the jump. That is a confusing death, but after respawning, I went on to explain.
So what happened there was I was trying to see if pushing left or right with the crafting menu open would let me craft more or less of a given thing that I had selected, and it didn't. It did not. But I didn't lose any of my stuff since I died in that little instance.
And since no items were lost, I figured it was best to just go ahead and turn the quest in. So I returned to the base where I had gotten the quest to kill all of those people who were lurking underwater harmlessly, and turned it in.
All of our effort was rewarded with one bag of Moneybags Tux. This suit right here.
While sporting my new fancy Moneybags Tux, I got caught up running very simple quick tasks for the people around the base.
That person just gave us a quest to deliver something to somebody who's standing right next to them.
Seemingly, that would be a very simple quest, but instead, I got confused with all the people around the base having the same name.
Wait, what? Is everybody's name May? May? The woman I just talked to's name was May. This is also May? Oh, okay. Well, the reward for that one, instead of being the tux, is a music box. Which, when played, sounds like this.
Please enjoy the first and only time I'll play music.
Our band name is obviously Hopeless Fish. Oh, that started the music again. Alright. Alright.
It might be hard to believe, but I actually sold that instrument at the next possible shop I could find. Eventually, after passing far more notes to people around the base than I care to admit, I determined it was time to keep moving.
We've got to go find avian stuff.
So I swam my happy little butt cheeks back up to the surface before teleporting off to the Ark, where I bought some technology upgrades for my mobility.
I think the spike one is the best. I don't care about moving across liquids, but a spiked sphere sounds like we could traverse walls. And if we can just climb up walls, that makes everything a little bit easier.
Then, swinging by one more shop to sell some things at the Ark, I discovered what would go on to be my biggest moneymaker.
They're giving 1,000 gold for that one top. Is it just 1,000 for anything purple? No, the whip isn't 1,000. It's just that top is 1,000. Is that crazy? That feels crazy. How much is the suit worth? Another 1,000. How much is the mask worth? Another 1,000?
That's right, just like in every one of EA's fantasies, cosmetics in Starbound are how you make money. And so with that knowledge, I began cleaning out all of my cabinets and drawers to sell additional items to get more pixels. With my newfound cash, I headed directly over to buy the ship upgrade license, which would make my ship larger.
So I used that to buy this upgrade license, and then we're going to have to find upgrade modules.
Unfortunately, this is a gross misunderstanding of what was happening. Penguin Pete needed the upgrade modules to be able to upgrade our ship. However, Penguin Pete was also the contact for a different quest. This meant I had two quests that needed to be turned into the same person, or penguin, as it were. My solution to this was to fly to a new planet and deploy the mech instead of deploying on foot. Maybe that way I would find mech parts while exploring the planet. This was, however, quickly thrown out the window when the tutorial bot showed up and told me my mech was not built for environments like this planet, meaning I would need to redeploy on foot to explore the last planet in this galaxy. While on Horsebutt Stream 3, I tried out my new spiky ball ability.
Ah, that spiky ball is gonna come in handy.
As seen, it was both useful in getting into and out of situations.
Ah, look at that. We're gonna be able to build just a mine shaft straight down, and then we could just climb back up and out. Is it limited? No. Okay, so it uses power to turn into the ball, but it doesn't use power over time to be the ball.
To become the ball takes power. To remain spherical only takes time. Speaking of time, I spent my time on Horsebutt Stream 3 finding items and selling them off to merchants whenever possible, as this was generating the most money I had come across in the game so far. And while I love making money in games, I did take time to pursue my true passion in Starbound.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oddly enough, my death wasn't even to Horsebutt Stream 3's more dangerous residents.
What in the oh boy? Nope.
Oh no indeed, and by oh no, I mean oh no, I won't use any combat techniques besides those called cheesy, dirty, and underhanded, my specific cup of tea.
Okay, works for me.
After combat, the planet provided me with some of its juicy bounty.
We got juice, we got some sort of fruit, and that fruit produces ice cream and juice.
A most succulent discovery among the other drier finds throughout the galaxy. Then I decided it was time for some Grand Theft Auto, so I stole a van that I found.
Can we take this van? Nice.
In hindsight, I had never obtained a driver's license on Horsebutt Stream 3, so being able to use the van here was completely out of the question. Instead of ensuring my morning commute was going to meet the legal loopholes required, I went ahead and upgraded the matter manipulator, adding an increase to the range at which I could mine things. The most disgusting biome of my entire playthrough presented itself to me after that, a biome where everything was either flesh, a fleshy component, or made of flesh. Disgusting to the average space explorer, but home sweet home to strange monsters and cannibals alike. I was compelled to crawl inside of a cave I found there before giving this sage bit of advice.
If you're uncomfortable, just roll away.
Unsurprisingly, that advice only made this avoidable death, where I was in ball form, all the more uncomfortable when it happened.
Oh gosh, no! Not again.
I returned to Horsebutt Stream 3, determined to finish a mission I had where I was to kill a samurai before getting my stuff and moving back on. Naturally, I cheesed the samurai to make quick work of him.
The old faithful. Oh! I got shot.
But even after getting shot, my determination to take out the samurai before recovering my items did not waver.
Mr. Punchy is still punching. Oh! What? Did he hit us with an arrow?
While my body was being glued back together in this tank, I decided it would probably be advantageous to get my items back first. That way, if the samurai decided to hurt me, I would have bandages to heal myself. Thus, I made my trip back into the disgusting biome to get my items, but was interrupted when a quest I had taken was failed.
Oh. Oh, the okay is a little sad face. Hold on. I'm not doing this. Oh, we're doing it. God bless it, Jesse. Why'd you do that to me? It got me killed again.
So Jesse, the NPC I was to keep alive, died, and the notification for his death got me killed, which is unfortunate but ultimately quite fair. On the next run, I stopped periodically to pick up plant fibers to make salves so I could heal myself as I went. This proved to be very successful in helping me get back.
That's part of my stuff.
And that part was followed by a very slow, careful descent to the rest.
That's the other part. All of the stuff has been returned to its home. Very nice, very, very nice, very, 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 very nice.
A very nice job, if I do say so myself. And then, without giving it any second thoughts whatsoever, I returned to the samurai straight away to put him to bed.
Now we gotta deal with this guy who's still down there causing a problem.
And now, please prepare your macaroni, pizzas, and sandwiches as I serve up some cheese, taking out the samurai once and for all.
No! Chase! Not again!
Pride comes before a fall, and overconfidence in your cheese method comes before getting shot in the face by a samurai on Horsebutt Stream 3. Without stopping, I beamed down and ran back to the area only to discover that the fire I had put on the ground previously had taken the samurai out before I could even arrive. So I ran across the surface of the planet to turn in all the various missions I had picked up along the way, until I finally ran into enough enemies that I decided it was better to just leave.
Nope, we're just leaving. Just leaving. Leave the sacrifice, leave the everything, all of it. Don't need to be there, leaving right now. We are great.
And so I was great. Returning to my ship, I started to experiment with the different resources I found on the planet to realize once again that I still needed silk in order to build a better breastplate. Since I still didn't know how to get silk, I turned my efforts back to using my deployable mech. I found a friendly ship nearby and decided to head toward that, as I thought I could deploy the mech there and then maybe find mech parts in order to complete the penguin quest and in turn upgrade my ship.
This is a friendly ship.
And arriving there, I deployed and soon headed inside. After cleaning out a number of boxes on the friendly ship, I noticed,
So all of this is like mech related stuff.
meaning I had finally found somewhere that had components I could use to upgrade my mech. After cleaning out all the boxes on the ship and making sure no one on the ship sold mech parts, I went to the captain's quarters and decided it was best to shut down the whole operation, given they had just let me steal thousands in valuable loot.
Turn off your computer, you're done.
With some semblance of how to get mech parts, I got back to my ship and returned to the other task at hand.
We've got to figure out how to make silk.
And so, determined not to look anything up online, I went through all the different facilities and upgrades I could build, determined to find a solution to my silk situation. Thankfully, after building a loom, I was able to get lost in a totally different direction, as I realized.
Okay, silk comes from silk fiber, and silk fiber does not have a recipe here, so we have to figure out how to make silk fiber.
And so, while I can't solve my problem, I can work it backwards in real time. And so, without an obvious solution to my silk situation, I decided to go to a nearby galaxy to find something to either progress the mech or the main quest line. And once there, I headed directly towards another friendly ship in order to find more mech parts. But even after cleaning out that entire friendly ship, it wasn't a successful mission because I had found
No interface chips.
Clearly, pursuing mech parts was a fruitless exercise. It also didn't clear my mind of the silkworm situation, as the next planet I landed on, I continued to ruminate.
I think there was something about catching bugs, and I wonder if we can make a bug catching net, and then we can catch silkworms.
After spending that time ruminating on game mechanics I wasn't familiar with, such as bug catching, I decided I should do something I was much more familiar with.
Excellent.
After going down the well-worn path of gathering my items, I gave some thoughts on how I should progress from here, because this was not working.
I have a new plan. Here's what I'm thinking. We go back to the first base we had. From the first base, there was a teleport there, base 1. From the first base, we should be able to look and see all of our different stations. I think we had left a bunch of different... Yeah, there we go.
And here is the new solution offered by the old facilities.
There's a moth trap. Moths produce silk. There we go.
So I knocked down some nearby trees, smoothed out the land underneath, and at long last was ready to start my life as a humble moth farmer. As all moth farmers watching this know, moths produce silk overnight, meaning I have to harvest the silk in the morning, so I headed back to my ship. With silk production kicked off, I headed to a nearby desert planet in an effort to keep the main quest chugging along. While there, I ran across an old friend and decided to take some with me, resulting in this unexpected recipe.
See, this water seems to heal me whenever I'm standing in it. Bottled healing water. So it's just healing water.
While I can't speak to the effects of bottled healing water as I never used it, I can say that I eventually just decided to leave the planet. As I wasn't finding any avians, I wanted to continue the main quest.
I'm leaving.
And so without another word, I left, only stopping at a nearby moon to grab enough crystals to power me through the end of the game. I jumped to a nearby gentle star, hoping that an early game system would provide early game components for my mech, helping me resolve what should have been an early game quest. I attempted to complete a low-level enemy threat in the system, but ultimately became a member of the Robinson family when a misstep sent me off to be lost in space.
I'm drifting away. I can't come back. What is this? You let me just drift into space. What? What? What is happening?
This, of course, ended in the usual way. With the winds of vengeance in my wings, I went back to the pirate ship and used cheese methods as well as my mech to kill all of the pirates inside. After which, I shut down their whole pirate operation.
Shut it all down. Shut the whole operation down.
I don't know why here, but after determining the pirates were sufficiently trounced through death and powered off computers, I headed to a totally different galaxy where I explored and finally found my interface chip.
Oh, there we go. That one dropped a salvaged interface chip.
With the knowledge that shooting things in space would give me the components I was after, I started letting loose on everything that came by.
2 salvaged interfaces?
Eventually, I did find all of the components I needed for that mission. Unfortunately, the moment turned out to be a bit bittersweet, as the last component gave rise to a new problem.
Ah, that's it. Wait, what? I just got that. Now it says acquire salvaged. Hold on. Salvaged power couplings? 4 out of 10?
So one of the quests was for Penguin Pete. The other quest was for the guy who was going to upgrade our ship through Penguin Pete. Each quest required components, and I needed both. Unfortunately, both were in space, and so it was time to carry on with more shooting in the mech. Before carrying on with my mech mission, I stopped at the nearby planet to check for avians in order to continue the main quest line, but found more Florians and more instruments.
No bongos, no drums. No bongo, no drum.
Leaving that unfortunately musical Florian planet, I headed off to check on my silk supply.
How are the worms? Hey, they drop cotton. That's what we want to see.
They're moths, not worms. They drop silk, not cotton. But I'm a new farmer, so I know nothing, though I'm happy to finally have something in my pocket. Rest assured, if I had caught my misuse of the word cotton there, I would have corrected it.
Silk fiber, sorry, not cotton, silk.
See, a good worm farmer always corrects his mistakes. Finally, after all of that hard work, I headed back to my ship to get the upgrade I had been chasing, leaving only the mech and the main quest line as the next things to progress. With the armor situated, I dropped on a nearby planet to continue the main quest line. Taking a very quick walk, I came across an avian temple almost instantly and dove inside without hesitation.
I literally just walked into an avian base. Are you kidding me? I've bounced around so many planets in so many galaxies. Oh my gosh, and that's it. That was the last one.
Yes, that scan was enough to satisfy Esther's curiosities about the avian people, though leaving an avian base would not satisfy my curiosity about what kind of loot they possessed, so I decided to explore the place and loot everything I could find. This one as well as I could have expected it would.
Oh no.
But on my way to recover my items, I made a new discovery.
I found a collar?
That collar can be used on any pet kept in a pet ball to give them some sort of effect like damage or health increase. Some people find this super effective. Something else I found super effective was my ability to use my ball form to recover all of my items from the buzzsaw trap. Since I had scanned enough avian items, I returned to the Ark to speak with both Pirate Pete and Esther. Pirate Pete sent his penguins to work upgrading my ship, and then spoke with the shady merchant to find out there were other opportunities waiting for me.
Oh, we can upgrade the ship even bigger?
Though the opportunity to build an even bigger ship made me realize my ship was probably already upgraded.
Oh, it is bigger. Holy cow, this is a big deal.
This was, in fact, a big deal, as all this new space meant I could finally get organized. So I took some time to get organized, putting a lot of different things in a lot of different boxes and making sure everything made sense in my head. Then went back to the Ark and bought a bunch of canned food so I would have sustainable food for a long time. Finally, after selling off things as I went and organizing nonstop, I felt like I was in a good place to move forward. Naturally, this meant returning to Esther, where I told her everything I had learned about the avians, and she told me to get started on another mission. Instead of jumping right on that, I took some time to build some facilities in my ship before starting the mission and checking out the biggest chicken I've ever placed my peepers on.
That's a big bird. That's a big bird.
With that egg introduction out of the way, this mission unfolded just like the others. Descend the temple, take out enemies along the way, and ultimately find the boss room and enter to find the boss.
Just a big old bird statue.
Unfortunately for the Cluex avatar boss, I had picked up a fire staff along the way. This staff meant I could set up a portal and continue dealing damage while I jumped around if the fight got dicey. And it would, of course, get dicey.
Why, that seems dangerous. That seems pretty easy to deal with. I guess we stand on these. Oh, yep. Definitely stand on those. I think the wands make this a bit easy. I can just stand wherever in the room and pelt him with the fire.
While that is true, don't forget my habit of speaking too soon.
Yeah, that was a little bit easier than the last boss. That was a little... Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. I was stupid. Oh, jeez. Stupid, 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 stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid.
And so the second phase began, this one requiring a lot sharper movement to avoid attacks.
Are they gonna, like, dissolve or something? Yep, nope. Nope, yep.
Ultimately, even with his new moveset, my great timing and amazing wand proved to be too much for the Avatar, who, like everyone else, perished and left behind his artifact.
Give me that ball. You know I live for these balls.
And so, with hands full of balls and another chicken added to my rooster, I returned to Esther to get my next quest. This quest to scan the Apex came in the same time as the Steam achievement for getting the chicken to join my crew. Returning to the ship, I got caught up trying to put the collar I had found on one of my pets, ultimately getting it to work but taking a lot of time to do so. After which, I decided it was time to mix things up some, concluding the best way to do so was going to be to go and liberate the penguin people from Dreadwing.
Yeah, let's go fight Deadwing. Let's see what happens. We got good equipment. We only died in the Coliseum after a little bit.
So I took my new staff and fought my way through Dreadwing's armies.
Oh, there's penguin tanks. Holy cow.
I remained cool and collected as I fought through the armies until I arrived at the primary penguin himself.
Oh, that was very sudden. Okay.
And so a battle to the death to liberate the penguin people began, Dreadwing swooping down from above and me casting fire from my new fire portal wand. Eventually, after a fight that took far longer and far more fireballs than I had anticipated, Dreadwing perished.
Okay.
Thus, the penguin people were liberated, able to taste freedom yet again, with the real silver lining being that I got paid.
Okay.
With that excursion completed, I went back to my ship and built the next backpack upgrade, installing a regeneration chip into it to make sure my health would constantly be ticking upward. I then remembered to check in on my silk farm and collected a bunch of resources there before returning to my mech so I could find the remaining salvage interfaces in order to complete my outstanding mission. After spending far more time than intended in the darkness of space, I finally got all the pieces together and turned in the mission.
Missile rack mech arm.
So Penguin Pete, the man responsible for upgrading my ship, and Dr. Skaggy, the penguin responsible for upgrading my mech, are two different people, and I think I overlapped their different quest lines and made one big quest slurry. Apologies, but I was confused in the moment, so I'm bringing the confusion to you. While speaking with the penguin, Dr. Skaggy, he asked that I fight one of the new mechs he was working on. So I headed back to my ship, built some new facilities, and then subsequently built some bandages so I'd be ready for the fight.
Very good for later bosses. All right.
Returning to the penguin,
I've got my bandages.
it was time to return to the Winter Wonderland where I would put down the penguin's newest creation. Once again, this became a matter of summoning portals of fire and raining them down on my foe.
Stop it. No pinching.
As the fight progressed, he threw everything he had at me, including missiles and lasers.
Oh, we're getting fancy. Oh boy.
And although there were times my goose was nearly cooked,
Okay. We don't need to do all that.
I kept bringing the pain of a fiery portal until my opponent could take no more.
Hey, first try. We killed the evil penguin. Get back here. Come here, you. Oh, okay. I forgot that he's not evil. He's just using a mech.
And so with that Steam achievement done and the mission complete, I returned to Dr. Akagi. And then, rather than take the next mission offered by the good doctor, I returned to my ship and headed for the nearest frozen star to follow the main quest line. And I found myself to be particularly tickled when I looked at the resources offered by the planet.
Ooh, this has all the different kinds of resources. 3 different ones here. Oleum, Agisalt, and Frisolium. Okay, let's do it. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but certainly the right place to get it.
Thus, I teleported down and found myself diving into yet another water planet. Unfortunately, after about 30 minutes on the ocean floor, I decided my time was better spent giving up on this planet.
I don't know if I'm leaving too early, but I'm giving up right now.
However, leaving this planet happened at a very opportune time, as after I got back to my ship, I checked how long I had spent in Starbound and determined I needed to figure out what I was going to do going forward.
I just checked the time and I have passed the 10-hour mark, so we can be done here, but I think I want to finish the main quest because we're close. I think we're close. We've almost got all the gems, and because I've spent a lot of time wandering in circles. So I'm going to finish out the main quest. I'm going to eat some food. I'm going to finish out the main quest, and then we're going to be done. Let's get back to it.
And so, although unusual for me and for the playthroughs here, I decided I wanted to follow the main quest rather than focus on the 10-hour threshold. This riveting speech was of course followed by me landing on another ocean planet, which proved, just like the last one, to be useless. As any good explorer knows, after leaving a planet like that, the only place left to go is Jabba Waste 5.
Off to Jabba Waste 5.
Although it wasn't another water planet, the first creatures I encountered there were certainly not Apex.
You're not Apex?
And the second group of peoples I encountered were the Hyodal, which, again, was not Apex.
This is also not Apex.
Though while exploring the Hyodal structure, I found a new type of wand to flesh out my selection.
I don't know what that thing I just picked up was, but it definitely looked like another wand. Let's see what this bad boy does. Oh, it's just a fireball. It's amazing. The fact that it emits light as well just really makes it feel super powerful.
And as any good space wizard monkey would, I finally gave my thoughts on my new wand versus my old one.
This one, even though it's a little more uncertain, still hits harder. And I kind of like that because you can just barrage them with fireballs.
And so with my new wand in hand, I continued to explore the planet, as most planets seem to be inhabited by 2 different types of people. And thankfully, I continued to do so.
Oh, this might be Apex. Oh, that hurt. They look Apex. Ah, they've got the green posters. It's Apex. We found, oh, that's not very much. Found some of them.
And so I scanned everything that I could, discovering that Apex had some odd items that counted as an Apex item.
The record player is Apex. The banana poster, not Apex.
Obviously, the Apex wouldn't be tainted by making a banana poster something that belongs to their people. That would be far too stereotypical of them. Though that didn't apply to everything, as some of the Apex items were pretty on the nose.
I bet this giant monkey up ahead is Apex. Hey, look at that.
Much like I was, you're probably considering that the Apex just like sculptures more than paintings, but they had their own set of paintings as well.
I bet the Mona Lisa, yeah, that's a monkey Mona Lisa.
And the monkey Mona Lisa wasn't even the only one.
Ah, another monkey poster.
And so I told Esther all about how the monkeys like posters rather than just banana posters. With that base totally cleaned out of scannable items, I headed off to a nearby planet, hoping that since there were Apex in this galaxy, I could just bounce between planets and find more of them. And while exploring the new planet, I stumbled across a clockwork structure filled with a box of abundance.
Okay, this box has all of the different new ores in it and a boiler. So we just have a boiler we could wear on our back, but I'm going to stick with the wings.
And as I marched on with my new boiler, I found what I had been hoping for.
Ah, you're monkey people. I knew you were monkey people.
As I stumbled through the city I had found, and when I least expected it, I was blindsided by a new discovery. See if you can catch it.
Part of me feels like if I help these people, maybe they'll give me a recipe. And I don't know if this is how this works, but if I build a recipe of theirs and then scan it. What? Surprising information could even... What? I don't know what this means.
What this means is, just by talking to the monkey people, I would get to know them, thus increasing the knowledge that Esther had. I, however, did not catch that at this point, and instead ran around looking for items to scan while Esther kept telling me I was doing a great job.
Why does she say, I wonder? What is happening?
And while I try to figure out why Esther keeps talking to me, you should check out the Plague Master mask in that box that became a staple of my outfit. I should note here that my spontaneous progress with Esther became even more confusing as I went on. Sometimes I would spontaneously find an Apex outside of an Apex settlement, speak with them, and gain progress without knowing what I had done that was making me understand more about the Apex people.
Okay, I think I've circumnavigated the planet at this point. This clue hints at hidden information? I don't know what that means.
Again, that was Esther telling me I had made progress toward understanding the Apex people. Giving up on that planet's Apex population, I went back to my ship and started to refine all of the later game materials I had found along the way. While at the ship, I also upgraded my matter manipulator's speed and reach. I then jumped to another planet in the galaxy, where I was immediately made uncomfortable by the greeting party.
I'm sorry, what in the world is that?
After helping that creature's family gather his life insurance policy, I explored the base below and finally started to come to terms with what was happening.
I don't understand. If I'm talking to these people, is that giving me more knowledge about them?
That is what was happening. Something else that happened was, upon completing that side quest, I was rewarded with a monkey poster relating to the Apex. As I walked along the planet's surface, I finally reached another Apex city, and this time decided my plan was going to be just to speak with everyone.
Okay, we found another of these little Apex monkey bases, and I'm going to just talk to every monkey here and hope that Esther's little head shows up and tells me that I've learned something amazing.
But even with that plan, it turned out that scanning items was more helpful than speaking to everyone in the city.
Oh, that monkey computer was a huge thing. We've gone by so many of those computers. Oh my goodness.
A strange bit of information I'm noticing while editing is that the progress I've scanned now is going to be different than what it was when I arrive on the ship seconds later, as though I'm suddenly losing knowledge about the Apex people. Very odd indeed. At any rate, I didn't notice that while playing, so instead I headed off to yet another planet to try to find more of the Apex. Although this turned out to be an ocean planet, and maybe this is just because I was tired of chasing the Apex around the galaxy, I decided to spend my time on that planet mining high-level resources out from under the ground. Eventually, and without having seen or spoken to a single Apex, I was ready to leave the planet and make upgrades that would carry me through the end of the main quest line. Back at the ship, I refined all of those resources, built new facilities in order to use all of the newly refined resources, then doubled back to the Ark and bought additional upgrades for my ship to make it larger. After that, I had a quick chat with Pirate Pete, who put his penguins to work expanding the ship and making it far larger than it was before. After the penguins were done, I returned to my ship to take in the new size, and then discovered I had to put an upgrade on top of my forge to prepare it to make late game items. After my forge was upgraded, I noticed both armor and weapons would take Solarium to make the final upgrade, so I wanted to wait in order to make those, so I headed to the next planet instead to continue on the main quest line. While there, I encountered a new spooky race.
Oh, okay. Are you friendly? You're not unfriendly, are you? What in the world?
Cleaned out another Hyodal structure, and once again encountered an old friend.
Oh no. No. We gotta go back. No.
And so for the millionth time, I made my way back across the planet to recover my items.
Oh, no, not again. No. I'm a good little doctor.
In hindsight, I could have avoided my long-standing struggle with death by leaving extra supplies in my ship to make sure I could heal on my way. But alas, here we are. Then, instead of finding Apex on the planet, I found a literal sewer that I couldn't help myself but dive into. After spending far too long to explore the entire thing, I became exasperated and said,
Okay, another dead end. Not sure why you can come down here.
And while the sewage area was gross and underwhelming, the creepy area turned out to be creepy and incredibly deadly.
I'm sorry. Hello? Hello? I don't want to fight this orb. He moves far and fast. Holy cow.
And so, with Apex in short supply and opportunities to meet death abounding, I decided it was best to just leave that planet and move on to the next one. Arriving there, I headed to a weapons station where I got in over my head faster than I thought possible.
Transponder. It's worth 150,000.
What I thought I was getting was some sort of very valuable trinket, and what I didn't read or realize at the time was what I was purchasing was in fact an entire space station.
Hey, you.
But after time, I realized I could go back to my ship and use this purchase.
Station name, cups. Station description, saucy. We have to put it somewhere? Oh, I don't want it here. That's green. All right, there you go.
And that was, in fact, the last time I touched anything that had anything to do with my space station. Instead, it was back to the main quest, heading off to another planet and searching for the Apex. What I found instead of the standard Apex experience I knew turned out to be some sort of ragtag resistance. While this was dramatically different than the comfortable living I had seen Apex in earlier, I was able to scan an item and then smooth talk my way to the finish line.
That was enough.
Without hesitation, I ran back to the Ark and spoke with Esther, who of course, without hesitation, sent me on another mission, this one involving the Apex.
It's always a mission. It's always the same. It's always go scan these people's stuff. Once you get to know them, jump into their home and take something. Fight a boss as well. You have to fight a boss.
After that succinct explanation, I stopped off to check on my silk and decided I should use the land nearby to start a cotton farm. And so after a bit of terraforming, I got all the cotton planted in the ground, installed a sprinkler system, and then dusted off my hands and said,
Okay, the cotton's planted. I don't know how long that takes to grow, but there it is. Gosh darn it. We've got cotton and we've got silk at this base.
With that done, I made a few more last-minute supplies before heading off to join the Apex, who were outside of an Apex mansion for the Apex mission. Honestly, this all just unfolded like every other mission had at this point, where you go through the base, clear out a bunch of rooms, and reach the boss.
This looks like the boss. Yep, this is the boss room.
And so it was time to fight Big Ape, a giant monkey head surrounded by turrets, and whenever a turret was killed, the fight would progress forward, resulting in new phases, new attacks, and sped up movements by the monkey. While not the most difficult boss, it did see me meet the same end as many others had.
No!
After a quick weapon swap, I entered my second attempt at the boss, where I pulled out all the stops on strategies,
Can I just climb the wall? I'll just be up here.
and lasted significantly longer than the first time before being knocked back down.
Oh, God bless America.
On my third attempt, I pulled out my wand that opened a portal and shot electricity bolts similar to the portal that shot fire bolts. This proved to be super effective against the boss, as I could continue running around while doing damage with my portal. This was a long fight, and eventually, after working on all the turrets, I got down to just one and a very erratic monkey.
I really would like the eye laser bit. If you could do that, that's really a nice one to get some damage in on. There you go.
And on that third attempt, the power of monkey was broken.
I just kind of try to set up a whole bunch there for this thing to run into. That's one down monkey. So we just leave? Alright. Thanks for opening your home. Can you imagine if we died there?
Easy there, buddy. With you, that seems very likely. With the power of monkey defeated, I headed down to the basement where I recovered the key before rushing off to give it back to Esther. She, of course, paid me with the mission complete and a Steam achievement.
There we go. That's a monkey added to the crew. What a great crew.
It was a great crew, though there was no time to think about that as Esther was sending me to scan the glitch people and learn about their civilization. I swung through my ship on the way to finding the glitch people and noticed I had a forging station upgrade I could make. So I went ahead and started whipping that up, but noticed halfway through that I had a backpack upgrade I needed to make, so I went ahead and made that first instead. Then I jumped to a nearby star to keep the main quest line chugging along nicely, touching down on the first planet I found there.
Can we just jump in the lava? What happens? Nope, 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 nope. Nope, dumb, bad, dumb, bad.
And so with my brain thawed back out, I realized that the backpack that stopped heat damage stopped heat on the planet's surface, not heat by submersion in lava. Returning to my ship and cruising to a nearby star that looked more promising, I decided it was time to try maybe a solid planet rather than a liquid one for my new backpack.
See, look at that. We're here. It's pretty. There's little guys who are on fire.
And so I traversed the volcanic wasteland, watching for solarium and keeping my eyes peeled for any kind of glitch people. Instead, I found an underground obstacle course while I was exploring an apex base I found, completed it lickety-split by deciding not to fight the enemies inside and instead just run through,
Bye-bye. Teleport.
and kept tradition by claiming the planet with one of my headstones.
Oh my gosh.
But at this point, I'm a pro, so I got back to my stuff and collected it very quickly before moving on across the planet's surface. After wandering the wasteland there, I gave up and tried the next planet over, still looking for the glitch people. Instead of the glitch, check out this cool castle I found, where the robots inside use medieval weapons like bows and swords to fight their enemies.
Oh wait, that was glitch. That's glitch. So glitch are just robots, but they can be medieval robots?
Indeed, the glitch are robot people who like to do medieval things like jousting,
Okay. Nope.
digging wells like the one I jumped in here, and placing box traps on ledges. Strangely, even as I fought my way through the castle, I was finding no glitch artifacts as I went. And I truly can't overstate how long I spent crawling through cracks and crevices in the castle until finally, at long last,
Okay. Those are glitch, I guess. I mean, that was a good find. It was just bookshelves, but a good find, I guess. I'm still confused how those are glitch and other stuff is not. That's a map. It's an old map. How is that glitch, but then the banners are not?
But the old map wasn't the end of the glitch things I found.
Ah, swords? Okay, so I have no idea what glitch is. That's just the long and the short of this.
It's true, finding the glitch things was proving to be difficult, but check out this fish I found.
There's just a fish guarding a treasure chest. It's perfect.
Thankfully, some of the glitch items I did find made huge progress towards my quest.
Ah, it's glitchy. That's glitchy.
At last, my climb through the castle took me to the top, where I completed a bit of regicide before exiting out the back, where I took out the last of the guards, one item away from completing the glitch part of the main quest. After the castle, I had a few more unique finds on this brimstone-laden planet.
Just on this hellscape of a planet, you can find some tomatoes. That totally makes sense.
Yes, tomatoes and these enemies who like to roll toward you punctuated my time on the planet.
Got those Sonic boys out here, the little ram rolls. Ram rolls. Nope.
As I wasn't finding more glitch, I checked back in at my ship, checked back into my cotton, and then harvested my first bit.
Outstanding.
And I added one more cotton plant from a seed I found along the way. With my first bit of cotton, I made my first bit of canvas, allowing me to make my first piece of assassin's gear, subsequently allowing me to make my next piece of armor using solarium. This is the Frontliner's armor, and it's the best set of armor I found in my playthrough of Starbound. With my first piece done, I headed to another planet to continue my search for the glitch while I waited for more cotton to grow and, in turn, more pieces of the armor to become available. available. Unfortunately, due to the stress of not knowing what a glitch item was, I lost my mind a bit while exploring the next planet.
Your glitch. Everything's glitch. Your glitch. This is glitch. This is just avian. That's all this is avian. What is that? Ah, it's a doom cannon.
But sadly, the Doom Cannon is not glitch. And although this was an avian village, I decided to explore the entire thing, even ascending their tallest tower. But even with the patience of a saint and the exploration skills of Lewis and Clark combined, I could not find any glitch on this planet, so eventually I left. Arriving soon after on my first desolate planet, hoping maybe there I could find the glitch. On the desolate planet, I ran for a long time before concluding to myself, as I was the only person on the planet,
I think there's just nothing and no one here.
and even after saying that out loud, I continued to walk even further before eventually concluding to the entire desolate planet.
I think there's genuinely nothing here.
And so I left again, heading to another planet and making my selection of planets solely based on the planet being dark gray and glitch also being dark gray. But instead of being medieval like I knew the glitch to be, this planet had a sort of post-apocalyptic kind of flavor.
These look like mines. Yep, those are mines.
And although some of the locals were interesting enough,
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of fire. Nope, can't, nope, can't, nope.
there just wasn't enough glitch for my liking.
Not very glitchy. Not very glitchy.
I did eventually wander into a town that gave me a little bit of hope.
I don't know what that guy's face is. It says depths of the old glitch dungeon. Okay. So this should show us where the glitch dungeon is, right? That's what happened last time. It kind of points in a general. I'm sorry, is this also glitch?
It was not glitch, but what I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself was that if I simply went back to the old glitch dungeon in order to complete this quest, I might find other glitch relics there along the way. So I raced back to the location, dug down when I was standing directly above it, and once inside, made this discovery.
There we go. Is that it? I don't really care about, I care about your friend, but I don't really care about your friend.
No, that wasn't it, though I did already admit that I didn't care at all about that person's friend. And even the next item I found wasn't enough to send me over the quest completion, though I was feeling good about my finds.
This is progress.
Yeah, for some reason the glitch wanted to remain stubborn and unknowable, because the next item I found after that still wasn't enough.
That's not enough.
Though I eventually did find the man I was sent to rescue.
Yeah, I'll escort you back. I just need you to show me some glitch stuff.
Which ultimately didn't work out well for either of us, as he didn't show me any glitch items, and I wasn't very helpful in getting him back home.
These are just going to open up. You know this is all just going to open up and we're going to fall. Yeah, down there. Like that. Don't die. Okay. You died. One rule. You just go and ignore it.
After watching that death and taking notes on how to improve my own form of dying, I returned to the surface because my mission was incompletable and I still hadn't found the glitch. Returning to my ship, I swung by my cotton farm, grabbed cotton, and then made the next best helmet, and then upgraded that to the fully best helmet. All of this was followed by making my first weapon.
We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a weapon. I haven't made a weapon yet.
Possessing 2 out of 3 of the best-in-slot pieces of armor and a new best-in-slot weapon, I headed off to another planet, praying I would finally find, or at least have a conversation with, a glitch in order to move the main mission forward. Instead, as luck would have it, my travels brought me across another hyodal structure.
Ah, here's something. But this does not look like glitch.
It wasn't, and as I reached the end of the structure, I gave up on that and the entire planet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any glitch here, so I'm to abandon.
Frustratingly, that was the last planet in the system, so I had to stomp on a moon and, through my shame, mine more crystals to be able to leave the system. Once in the new system, I landed on a desert planet called Betelgeuse Eclipse 3, a bit dry but very promising. And as weapons in Starbound are enhanced by the armor you're wearing, on this planet I was finally able to try out my new sword compounded with my new armor.
Sorry. You have a lot of bones. I thought you were going to be evil.
Unfortunately, he was already gone, so those words were shared with the ghost of Caveman Past. As my day on the planet crept into the afternoon, I unloaded some of the items I had picked up along the way, before finding a nearby village where I could take refuge for the night and gain a cheeky Steam achievement.
Robot chickens. Hello, chickens. What happens if I kill them? Ah! Cool.
Don't ask me why, but for some reason robot chickens didn't register as robot people living in this village.
We talked to them. We talked to enough of them and it worked. Okay, great. We can leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. We're done. Good luck with your house. Good luck with your planet.
And so I was free. Racing back to the Ark, I returned to Esther for what would be, in my opinion, the very best boss mission in the game. This mission took place at a glitch castle, where I was greeted by the Baron,
Hello.
who was more than happy to offer me his relic, so long as I would defend his castle against incoming raiders.
Yeah, that wasn't as hard as maybe I thought it was going to be.
Ignorance truly is bliss, as I thought the first wave of enemies was the only wave until I headed outside.
It certainly looks like arrows are falling from above. Hopefully those are like friendly arrows. Okay, we need to have a real talk here about how many of you there are and what you're allowed to do. It's just really easy with this sword. And the armor.
Oh, blissful ignorance.
Just really quickly dispatching lots of them. Get that out of here.
Yeah, the enemy attacks start off with just a couple of enemies, which are obviously easy, and then ramp up to the enemies bringing catapults and flying machines. This was not something I was really ready for.
Oh no, hold on. Oh, very fancy.
And the waves just continued to ramp up
That's a lot of guys.
until the quest decided I could use some real help.
Oh, there's my little assisting people coming to help. I was just having a grand old time clearing the guys. I don't really need that much help, but thanks, I guess.
And so, while ignorance is bliss, pride always comes before a fall.
Oh! They're dropping fire from above.
My second attempt was far smoother, as I dispatched my enemies with haste, making sure to utilize all of my different weapons. I also made a special effort to focus on the catapult whenever it showed up. Soon, I had defended the castle from the entirety of the enemy onslaught, and I made my way back to the Baron for my compensation.
It was kind of fun. Little wave of defense. A little bit different kind of boss fight. I dig it. I dig it.
Unfortunately, the samurai who had killed me so many times before was back, leading the enemy army, and had one more trick to play.
Oh no. Okay.
And so as the fight commenced, I tried fire, electricity, and poison damage on the dragon to see if I could find any weaknesses. Then, as I thought I was getting somewhere, I noticed small mobs of enemies had returned, so I tried to lure them outside while I fought the dragon.
You guys can't just bring a dragon to the castle. Oh my gosh, the castle.
Yeah, the dragon's fire was so strong, it made short work of the castle walls.
Holy cow. I'm sorry. Where are my homies? Get out here. Oh my gosh, I'm not built for that. It's too much fire.
And, realizing my friends weren't going to come down and help me with this part of the fight, I determined it was best to put all of my damage back on the dragon to try to wrap things up as quickly as possible. After a drawn-out battle and many fireballs cast, I won the day on my first attempt.
That's right. Get down. Where'd he go? That other guy gone.
And so with that victory came another ball, what I would discover would be the final one for my collection. Naturally, I brought this news and the orb back to Esther and got another Steam achievement.
There we go. We got our boy, the Loyal.
And without any hesitation whatsoever, I jumped right from that quest into the next one offered by Esther.
I believe you're ready for this task. Dude, I'm so ready. Oh, this is it. This is the end.
This was in fact the beginning of the end. There was one power orb left, and Esther explained that she kept it safely housed in her matter manipulator and on her person at all times.
Okay, well, we've opened the portal to the end of the game, I assume.
This was the end, though after jumping in and determining that the entire landscape of the end was covered with poison, I jumped back up, headed to my ship, and made anti-poisons. With those poison antidotes done, I made some high-end bandages so I'd be ready to heal at a moment's notice, and then returned to the disgusting tentacle-laden hellscape that was the end.
So if we step in the poison, nothing happens? Nothing happens.
After giving my objective of destroy the ruins some thought, I had a theory on how to move forward.
I wonder if we have to dig down. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, we never do dig down. So I'm just gonna... Oh my gosh, it's gonna... Oh no, this is good. Okay, it's just a tentacle. I say we just start digging. It's either going to be on the surface or it's going to be down below. And my money's on down below because it is a planet eater from the inside. That is what the ruin is, it seems, right?
With my heading set, I dug down, battling my way through enemies until my computer tutorial showed up with a little bit of insight.
Ah, a vast chasm. I'm suspecting that that's the boss. Oh my gosh.
And so, leaping over that little hurdle, I dug back down, fought my way through enemies, and got deep into the center of the planet until I received the message again from my tutorial robot. Then, cautiously, I dug a bit deeper, approaching the giant chasm that the robot had warned me about.
Oh no. Well, we found the middle.
In order to prepare myself for the fall to the middle of the planet, I spoke with the chicken I had added to my crew earlier. Somewhere along the way, I determined that speaking with him added this small feather to the top left corner of my HUD. This feather worked as degradable protection against fall damage, meaning if I fell, the feather would take damage first, and I would survive the fall to the bottom of the cave. At least in theory, everyone knows a feather can only do so much. So I was careful to dig down without taking any unnecessary jumps or falls. Eventually, I reached the bottom, and with nothing left to do, I took my leap of faith. The jump was a success. I landed at the planet's core and began to walk around. Realizing I couldn't mine down any further, I decided going one direction until something happened would be the best. Then this happened.
A lot of steps down. We're going... Oh. Well, that's going to be that then, isn't it? We must destroy it. Alrighty. You got it, Cupcake.
Then I found an old friend.
It's you again. So sick of you.
But with my newfound weapons and armor, that fight was over long before things could get dangerous.
I'm so much stronger than when we last had a chance to hang out, so... Well, I have a feeling it's going to awaken. It looks like a giant eyeball.
It's gonna wake up. Oh, it's a giant eyeball.
And so it was on, the Heart of Ruin with its giant moves, and me with fireballs.
Oh my gosh. Don't worry, I got like 200 fireballs ready to go.
Through the fight, the Heart of Ruin would summon minions through the slime, he would create portals to summon more minions, and bring in tentacles whenever he needed to slap me around a little bit. But I persisted, dealing damage and taking out all the mobs that I could. Along with this, I burned through bandages liberally, making sure I was fully healed and ready to keep going at all times. While my strategy was bandages, the Heart of Ruin strategy was minions, which didn't work out so well because of the end of the first attempt.
Is that it? I'm expecting another phase. The ruin is structures unstable. Oh boy. Oh boy. More tentacles. Yep, okay. Get out? I don't know how. Where do you want me to get out? Where?
And so the ruin was ended, but I was ruined with it as I hadn't made the portal and I was left in a spaceless space and a timeless time where my body and soul had to be stitched back together by the universe.
I saved the universe, and it says there's a lot to do. They're giving me, the universe is giving me the last of itself.
And with that last bit of the universe powering my heart, I returned to my crew, able to turn in the last quest and gain a Steam achievement as well as quest complete from Esther. And that's it. That's the end of Starbound. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please feel free to like and subscribe and check out the other videos on the channel. I've been playing through a lot of games recently and having a lot of fun doing so. Thanks again. Bye bye, so long. Kisses. Bye.